Hi everybody, this is the lecture 3 for this topic. Okay, let's see the standard cost. Let's use the general model to calculate all standard cost variances starting with direct material. Okay, remember in the previous video, I have introduced the basic formula to calculate the dollar variance and quantity variance, and then you have seen one example or about how to calculate variance or how to do variance analysis to material cost. Okay, now you will see the variance analysis for all three costs: the direct material cost, labor cost, and overhead cost. Okay, this is the variance analysis for material first. So let's see the example. Hanson Incorporated has the following direct material standard to manufacture one ZP. ZP is the product. So for ZP, the standard cost is 1.5 pounds per ZP material at $4 per pound. Pound is the system used in US. Here we use kilogram. 1 pound is around half a kilogram. So this is the standard. So for this product, 1.5 pound material per product at $4 per pound. That is the standard data. The actual data is last week 1,700 pounds of material were purchased and used to make 1,000 ZPs. The material cost a total of 6,630. Remember, for material, you have to know how to calculate material price variance and also the material quantity variance. So what is the actual price per pound paid for the material from the question? This is easy. So actual price per pound is $6,630, which is the total price of the material divided by 1,700 pounds. So the answer is $3.90 per pound. So the question asks you, Hanson material price variance for the week was, okay, remember, use the formula. Okay, material price variance is equal to actual quantity times actual price minus standard price. So the actual quantity is 1,700 pound. Actual price is $3.90. Standard price is $4. The actual price is lower than the standard, so it is favorable. The answer is $170 favorable. Favorable means good, because the business performs better than the standard. So now look at how to calculate the standard, the material quantity variance. The standard quantity of material that should have been used to produce 1,000 ZP is, so standard quantity is equal to 1,000 units of production. 1 unit is 1.5 pound. So standard quantity is 1,500 pounds. And then the question asks you to calculate material quantity variance. You use the formula standard price times actual quantity minus standard quantity. So you put the numbers, and the answer is $800 unfavorable. Unfavorable because the actual quantity is higher than the standard quantity. Okay, see, there are two aspects of variance you have done. Variance in terms of dollar or price, and variance in terms of quantity. So remember this point. The price variance is computed on the entire quantity purchased. The quantity variance is computed only on the quantity used. Okay, just remember, way to use the formula to calculate these two variances. Okay, this is another example related to the material variances. Okay, Hanson has the following material: 1.5 pound per ZP, $4 per pound. Last week, 2,800 pounds of material were purchased at the total cost of 10,920, and 1,700 pounds were used to make 1,000 ZPs. So see, there are two actual data here. One is the purchase quantity, actual quantity of material purchased by the business, and the second data is the actual quantity of material used by the business. So how is there any difference if you have these two different numbers of material used and material purchased? So how to do the calculation? Okay, when this situation happen, remember, when the material purchase and material use are different, always remember, when you calculate the material price variance, you use the material purchase price, purchase quantity, purchase data. When you use the material price variance, you use purchase data, actual quantity of purchase, when you calculate the variance. But when you calculate the material quantity variance, you use the material use data. How many material has been used? Okay, these are some points, but the most important thing is you have to know how to calculate the variance, and also you have to know why, the reason why the variance is favorable or unfavorable. Okay, now we see the calculation for variances for direct labor. Okay, I have told you the variance analysis, there are two aspects of variance analysis, in term of dollar and in term of quantity. So when you calculate variances for labor, then the two analyses are called labor rate variance. Rate means the dollar pay to the workers, and the second aspect of labor variance is labor efficiency variance. Efficiency is related to how many hours the labor do their work. So when you want to do the labor variance analysis, the labor rate variance, the formula is actual hours. So labor rate variance equal to actual hours times actual rate minus standard rate. And when you want to do the labor efficiency variance, the formula is, look at the bottom of the slide, the last formula in the slide. So labor efficiency variance is related to the labor hours. Can the labor work quickly than the standard? So the labor efficiency variance equal to standard rate times actual hour minus standard hour. So let's see the example. So Hanson Incorporated has the following direct labor standard to manufacture 1 ZP. So for 1.5 hours per ZP at $12 per direct labor hour. So this is the labor rate. The rate pays by the business to the labor. So the rate is $12 per labor hour. It means that when the worker work 1 hour, the company will pay $12. Okay, in the US, this is normal. For people work in factory, they will get more than $10 per hour. That is normal for them. So for this business, for 1 unit ZP, the hour is 1.5 standard hour to 1.5 labor hour to make 1 ZP, and the labor rate is $12 per labor hour. Okay, so let's see the actual data. Last week, 1,550 direct labor hours were worked at a total labor cost of 18,910 to make 1,000 ZPs. So the question: what was Hanson's actual rate for labor for the week? So this is easy. Actual rates means actual labor cost divided by actual hours. So $12.20. Okay, now the question asks you calculate labor rate variance. So remember, labor rate variance is variance related to dollar, related to the dollar paid by the business to the workers. So you use the formula. The formula is labor rate variance equal to actual hour times actual rate minus standard rate. So the answer is $310 unfavorable. Unfavorable because the actual rate is higher than the standard rate. And then the question asks you to calculate standard hours. Standard hours is easy. You calculate 1.5 hours, which is the standard hour, times 1,000 unit of ZP. So the standard hour is 1,500 hours. So and then okay, how to calculate the labor efficiency variance? So you use the formula. The labor efficiency variance equal to standard rate times actual hour minus standard hour. The standard rate is $12. Actual hour, you have calculated the actual hour in the previous slides. 1,550 hours minus standard hour 1,500 hours. So the answer is $600 unfavorable because actual hours is greater than standard hour. Okay, there is another way to calculate the variance. The way is using this way, the way shown in the slide. But I prefer I think I suggest you learn how to calculate the variance using the formula, because this way is quite confusing. Okay, one thing about labor that you have to know is high skill labor you have to pay more to them. Low skill labor you have to pay less. But high skill labor can work more efficient and effectively. Low skill labor, they are less efficient. Okay, so if you have your own business, you have to choose. If you pay low salary, then you have to hire low skill workers. Okay, there are several reasons for unfavorable efficiency variance. The first one is poor supervisions, and then poorly trained workers, and then insufficient demand. When the demand is low, workers they do not work hard. They just becomes lazy when there is low demand. Poor quality material, poorly maintained equipment. Okay, this is about the variable manufacturing overhead variance. We cannot calculate the overhead variance for fixed manufacturing overhead because fixed cost is same now and same tomorrow, or they are always same. Fixed costs are always same. So the thing that we can do is to do the analysis for variable manufacturing overhead. So there are two types of variable overhead variance. The first one is called variable overhead spending variance, and the second one is variable overhead efficiency variance. Okay, so see the second half of the slide. The formula to calculate the variable overhead spending variance is actual hours times actual rate minus standard rate. Actual rate for this variance is actual variable overhead rate. Standard rate is standard variable overhead rate. And the calculation for variable overhead efficiency variance is standard rate times actual hour minus standard hour. Remember, I have told you when you want to calculate overhead in accounting, we always use either labor hour or machine hours to allocate overhead. So the actual hour and standard hour here refers to machine hours or labor hours. I don't know why one slide is missing here, but let's see. The question asks you to calculate Hansen's spending variance for variable manufacturing overhead for the week was. So this is the if a question asks you to calculate the overhead spending variance, then you use this formula. Actual hour times actual rate minus standard rate. In this question, the actual hour is supposed to be 1,550 hours, and then the actual rate is $3.30 per maybe labor hour or something, and then the standard rate is $3 per hour. So the answer is $465 unfavorable. And then the question shows how to calculate the efficiency variance for the variable manufacturing overhead. So the same way, the question shows that you have to use the formula. The formula is standard rate times actual hour minus standard hour. So the actual rate is $3. Standard rate is $3. Actual hour is 1,550 hours, and the standard hour is 1,500 hours. The answer is $150 unfavorable. So this is another way to calculate to do the variance analysis for overhead. Okay, this is the thing. Remember, I have told you when you calculate the overhead rate, you have to use an allocation base. If the allocation base is labor hour, then there is a relation or an association between the labor variances and the variable overhead variances. Because when you calculate the labor variances, you use the labor hour. When you calculate the overhead variances, also you use labor hour. So there will be a relationship between these two variances. So let's see the slide here. If variable overhead is applied on the basis of direct labor hours, the labor efficiency and variable overhead efficiency variances will move in tandem because the basis is same. So this is just like to inform you about that. Okay, now one thing about the variance analysis. If you have your own business, you do the variance analysis. Maybe you ask yourself, how do I know which variances to investigate? So the answer is larger variances in terms of dollar amount or as percentage of the standard are investigated first. Variances always happen. If the variance is small, it is not a problem. But if the variance is large, in terms of number, in terms of dollar or in terms of percentage, then you as an owner of a business or a manager has to investigate and do correction or improvement. Okay, these are the advantages of using standard costs. And then disadvantages of standard costs. I hope you can read this. One of the main disadvantages of using standard cost is, if you are a manager or a business owner, you will emphasize on negative. Because when you do standard cost and variance analysis, the focus is on the problem. So if you do it too much, then every day you as an owner of a business or a manager will focus too much on the negative side of the operation of your business. But the real situation is, if you are a businessman or a manager, you have to focus on the positive side, the positive thing in the future that will happen in the future. So too much using variance analysis will make you focus too much on the negatives. This is the end of this topic. Thank you very much. You can communicate with me in the comment section.